My name is Chris and welcome to this short introduction to PanelForge. PanelForge is a new program specifically designed for storyboarding and then taking that storyboard into your production pipeline smoothly. The best way to demonstrate how easy it is to use is to show you, so I'm going to quickly create and export a very simple storyboard using assets imported from Maya. So the first thing I need to do is just double click on my desktop icon and that brings up our welcome window. And we're starting a brand new project, so I'll click on there and we'll give our project the name Thin Man. That's spoilers for later. There we go. And there we are, here's PanelForge. So when PanelForge first opens, you're presented with our 2D canvas. This view is primarily used for drawing and we'll come back to this later on. But while we're here very quickly, we have our canvas tools that we use to draw, we have our color picker, and here we have our canvas layers. But while we're here, I'm just going to click on the stage layer and drop it down to 60% opacity before we leave. I'll explain why I've done that later on, but that will help us when we get into our drawing stage. But we're not here to do the drawing just yet. We are going to move into our 3D workspace by clicking on this button up here. So here we are in our 3D stage workspace, where you'll find we have our stage tools, our outliner, our history, and our panel timeline. But what we really need to hear is assets to work with. So if I come up to Window, come to Assets, and this brings our Assets window up, we can open. We go to Primitive Asset Library. We are going to pick Stage, and we're going to select Centimeter for the purposes of this test. And then we have Characters and Environment. So we need somewhere to work. And we have some characters as well. So let's select Street PFE. If I pick it up, drag it across, drop it in. And if I grab Thin Man as well, pick him up, drag him across, drop him in. There you can see just how easy it is to bring your Maya assets into your storyboard. Just drag and drop, it's fantastic. Now, we're very close on our character and we want to have a look more where we are. So I'm going to go to Panel Camera. I'm going to go to Editing Camera and that will show us an overview of our set and our character and where we are. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to lock the street because I don't want to accidentally grab our set and move that around. I want to just move our Thin Man around and our camera. And yeah, so we have, so you can use these tools to move around and look, go up and down, and left and right. And also, surprisingly, with the magnifying glass, you can zoom in and out. But you can also, if you turn the magnifying glass off, you can zoom in and out with your middle mouse wheel. And that's nice and easy as well. Brilliant. So now we've got our Thin Man here. We can select him. And as you can see, the Move Tool settings come up. So the Move Tool setting up here, we can move him in his X, Y, and Z position. That's nice and easy. Or we can click and we have our Rotate tool here. And we can turn him around, which would be a nice thing to do so we can actually see his beautiful face. And then finally, we have our Magic Transform tool. Now this is great because what you can do is you can pick him up and move him around exactly where you want him to be. And we want him to be over here in this doorway. So I'm going to drop him there. And I'm going to turn Magic Transform off because I don't want to accidentally pick him up and have him zinging around because you like him where he is. So there we go. That's our editing camera. So the editing camera is so we can look and move around and it won't affect our shot in our storyboard. Now, just in here, as you can see, this green thing here, this is our second camera that we have in our 3D workspace. This is our panel camera. Now, if you highlight it here in the stage outliner, again, you can pick it up and move it around using the tools that we have and that we want. So we can move it. And these arrows obviously depicting which way we're looking. And the same with this as well. We can rotate our camera and move it round. So it's looking more or less towards our Thin Man, which is okay, we can do it this way, but it takes quite a while to do that. So what we need to do is we can go into our panel camera. Oops, I didn't click that properly, sorry. Panel camera. Now that is the fantastic view that I have through our camera. This is currently going to be our opening shot. So we don't want this to be our opening shot, we want something better than this. So we're going to click on Thin Man, and then up here, we have this target. So if you click on that, there we go. The camera zooms in and focuses it on Thin Man and where we want it to be. Now we're still not exactly sure this is the shot we want. So again, using my mini wheel, I'll come out. And below, these main 3 buttons, we have these 4 smaller ones. And these are much more subtle when it comes to moving your camera and your position. So I'm just going to reposition very quickly so we've got a bit of a better shot. You can talk amongst yourselves while I do this, or perhaps sing a song. I'll be with you in just a moment. Hang on, I want to come down on here, come down, there we go, that's very good. And what we'll do is we'll just zoom in just a little tiny bit more. There we go. Right, that's going to be our opening shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Thin Man here and we're going to walk him out and walk him up the road very nice and quickly. So now we're happy with our camera and we're happy with the position of our character. We need our first panel of our first storyboard, of our first shot. So I come down here to duplicate panel. If I click on there, you'll see on the timeline, we now have scene 1, shot 1, panel 1, and then that has been duplicated to bring up scene 1, shot 1, panel 2. And we're now working on panel 2 because panel 2 is highlighted. So again, if I go to my move tool, I select Thin Man, and here he comes. So we'll bring him forwards towards us. And then I'll do the same thing again. I'll duplicate panel again. And once again, I'll bring him, I'll make sure Thin Man is highlighted and bring him forwards. And then I shall duplicate panel again. I'm only going to do maybe 5 or 6 of these, so it won't take very long. And I select my rotate tool. But because I can't see my rotate tool, what I can do is I can go into my editing camera. I can see him there, select Thin Man, and I can rotate him again. So again, that's brilliant. Go back into my panel camera, make sure it's what I want, and I want to move him forward. So I grab my move tool, and I can use these buttons if I can't see my actual controls because I'm in close on the panel camera. So if you don't want to come into editing camera, you can grab, so I highlight the X, and I can bring him, so I grab that and move him forwards that way, and that works. And again, duplicate the panel, and again with the X, select Thin Man, select X, and hold it, and pull him forward again. And then finally we'll do duplicate panel, we'll do it one more time, click X, click Thin Man, click X, and I'll take him out of shot. And there we go. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels, and that's our storyboard. Not the most exotic, or I can't hear Pixar ringing me at the moment, but we have something very basic we can work with. Storyboards don't need to be just practical. This is very practical. We have our layout now in Maya, and we have our assets moving in the way we want them to, and we could export these to the animator. But we want to give it some character, and we want to give it some emotion as well. We don't want it to just be the bare bones. Storyboards need to inspire the animators as well, rather than giving just technical information. So what we need to do now is move from our 3D workspace and move across into our, we need to move across into our 2D canvas. And using my pen, you'll be able to see down here, we have got those layers that we created in our 3D workspace now in our 2D canvas. As you can see here, we lowered the opacity very early on to set it at 60%. This is because the opacity here is strong enough. You can make it stronger if you like, or you can make it weaker, whatever you prefer. But if we leave it at 60 across the board, there we go. I can now click on my layer button and using my drawing tools, my canvas tools, select my brush, and now I can start to draw on top. Up here we have some colours, preset colours that you can use. And next to that we have some preset brushes. The S's are for sketch, the C is for cleanup, and the F stands for fill. They tend to be bigger brushes. But I'm just going to use Sketch 2 for now because this isn't going to be a final polished thing. And I'll just select the black colour that we have. I'll go to my first panel and I can just draw. Oh, excuse me. I'll select my layer, which I didn't do, down at the bottom right here. And there we go. Let's make him look a bit more menacing. There we go. And he's wearing boxing gloves because I haven't got time to draw fingers in this demonstration. And he's got a bit of a jaunty swagger as he's coming out of the house. He's very pleased with himself. And his spiky hair. Brilliant. Okay. And then I can move him to the next panel and I can click layer 1 and I can draw again. However, if I want to save some time, what is also possible is I can select the layer from my shot 1. I can grab that drawing layer, bring it across, drop it into panel 2. And then when I click on panel 2, you see my drawings there. And using my selecting tools, my free transform tool, I can make him bigger, grab him, and bring him forwards. So there we go. So there we go. There's another quick way to save yourself some time. And then we're happy with that. So I go to I apply that transformation, go to my next panel, and here I can have, click my layer, grab my brush, and here we go. He's starting to heading off to do something dangerous or nefarious, perhaps. Okay. So there we go. Very quick, very easy. And again, just for speed's sake, for the demonstration, I'm just going to grab that layer, bring it across, pop it onto the next panel, click on that, and use my tool, and drag him across. And then one final time, grab my layer once again, drag it across into the next panel, apply that transformation, click on that, and with my free transform tool, pick him up and do it that way. That's fantastic. Or my move tool, I can use either, free transform or move. Brilliant, there we go. And my next panel has nobody in it, so I'm finished. Brilliant. Now, the thing about PanelForge, which makes it different from everything else, is now we can take all this information, our drawings, our setup, our layout, our character posing, and our positioning, and we can then export that into Maya, which means when the animator opens their scenes, it's all there for them to start work with. So I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to save my project first of all, so save all, because we won't want to lose all that magnificent work that we've done. And then I go back up to File, I go down to Export. I want to save changes, I'll click on Save, just for the sake of it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to export image file sequence, so you tick on that box, and I turn off full comp layer, full composite image, and I go to Canvas layer only, and then I go to my project XML, export project XML file, and I'm going to save that. There we go, and that's it. So we've finished the PanelForge. Now we want to bring Maya in. So I have Maya open below down here. If I open that up, here we have Maya untitled file, and up here we should find our PanelForge button. If I click on PanelForge, go to Import, go across to Panels from PanelForge XML. Here we have everything here, and this is what I want. So I want to go to Documents, and I want to bring in Thin Man Export, because that's the Thin Man export we just produced, and open that. That's okay, Thin Man Project, and highlight that and open it. These are the panels you produced, so I'll just highlight those. Okay, okay, and there we have it. Now this is our final panel with no drawings on, but if I come back through Maya, you can see the drawings are over the details. So the animators can use your character drawings and all your rendering or anything you want to add on top to show just how great your work is and how to inspire them to go on to do some fantastic animation. I hope you've enjoyed this very, hopefully, brief introduction to give you an idea of how PanelForge works and hopefully how easy it is to use. And I hope you go on to create some fantastic storyboards. Thank you for your time.